Hey folks, I'm Gene Delasala with Audioholics, and we're doing a little impromptu video here with our friend Joe Perfito from Tributaries. Tributaries is one of the brands in high-end audio that actually make legitimate high-end speaker cables and high-end interconnects and HDMI. They don't throw you snake oil. Instead of the snake oil, they give you build quality. And that's one thing I've always admired about you, Joe.
Thank you, Gene.
And I want to shake your hand.
Thank you.
Because you're a legitimate audio company.
Thank you.
Audio cable company.
Thank you. Well, you know, there's a lot of reasons that's the way it is. Number one is my engineering background, because I do have a degree in electrical engineering, so I have a general idea of how these things work.
Right.
The other part of it is my training, basically. You know, I worked for Macintosh Labs for 15 years, and working with Gordon Gow and Sidney Korteman and the engineers at that company, I learned the importance of, I would say telling the truth, but working with equipment that the things that we say about that equipment can be measured and can be displayed, rather than just somebody's idea of advertising or hype.
Right. Now I like what you have here. He has this, I thought it was a Python at first, but it's a garden hose kind of power cable. And what is this? It's about 8 gauge resistance?
This is about 8 gauge. This one is our Claris brand, and it is used on it's a high conduit, it's a high current power cable, so it's used for power amplifiers basically. And the basic idea of this concept is it's designed basically for low frequency operation. Jay Victor, who's the designer, the patent holder for these products that we license, has turned this as a high current subwoofer cable, because it's designed for that function.
Right.
And because of that, it can deliver tremendous amounts of current, but also it has some filtering capability in that it can reduce noise that's coming in on the line. And because of the shielding in the cable, it takes out a lot of any EMI, RFI that you get in.
So there's no battery on this cable,
no
is there?
Battery. No batteries.
They don't put any batteries on their cables.
No batteries on the cables. No, we don't need to have batteries.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about HDMI, because we just did a video about cable budget guidelines and telling people when they look for an HDMI cable that it should be certified Cat 1 or Cat 2, depending on the data rates you're going.
Right.
And we were talking privately about how far do you think, if you're running an 18 gigabits signal, you're doing full HD audio and video, what's the limits you can get with a passive cable? What do you guarantee your cables to be?
We guarantee our cables to be at 10 meter, we can guarantee it at 18 gig. Now, we're having these certified outside, so we go to a third-party certification service. The major one we use is DPL Labs. They're located in Norman Beach, and they have the test equipment and the capability and the talent to operate this equipment, to come up with the specifications that exceed HDMI's specifications. But they don't merely test the video portion of the HDMI cable, they're testing the communication channel. Communication channel is the one that usually causes failures on all these longer HDMI cables.
And that could cause your audio dropouts that you get.
Oh yeah, if the communication channel fails, by the way, the communication channel, it's called the DDC line, or the protocol is called I2C. And if you lose that, everything stops, because that carries the EDID information and the HDCP copy protection keys.
Right. And
with HDMI 2.1 coming, there's going to be more data that's going to be thrown on that communication channel. That's not there now. So the load, the bearing load these cables have to take is extremely high, and it's going to get more so. But going back to 18 gig and HDMI 2.0, that certification is the most important part. There are so many cables out there that are making claims. I mean, there are some out there talking about 30 gig and 40 gig cables. I just saw one the other day that had a 48, they said they now have 48 gig cable, but nowhere did they say who certified it, who measured it to 48 gig.
And that's a big problem, yeah.
Because you can measure the video and say it does 20 gig, 24 gig, whatever you want it, whatever it does. But it's a communication channel. It's how does the 5-volt channel, how does the hot plug detect? There's so many more parts of that cable that need to be measured and certified before you can actually say it. So that's why we go to third-party certification.
Right.
Because it's not just me saying that the cable will do 18 gig.
Right.
It's I got two other ISF and TPL, both say that it will do 18 gig.
Gotcha.
So that's that.
We got like a disco going on over here, man. We got Paradigms doing their Persona flagship towers in this room, so I know it's probably hard to hear us. But I want to get you on record saying something that more cable vendors need to say. That HDMI, when you have a cable, either it works or it doesn't. So if you don't have sparkles and you don't have audio dropouts and the video is transmitted through, there's no magic in making the video look better because it either works or it doesn't. So I want to hear you say that.
The HDMI cable either works or it doesn't. Right, okay, I totally...
I'm going to make a meme out of that. I'm going to take a picture of you and make a meme out of it.
Gene, I totally agree. Now what we found though, which is really interesting, putting that together with another kind of a thought, is so many times cables will work and they'll say all of a sudden, oh gee, after a month it stopped working. This is a passive cable.
Right.
Now, if it's a passive cable, there's no electronics to fail, right? It's just copper wire. How is it possible that it could work for just a month or two and then stop working?
Can I give you an answer what I think it is?
Sure.
I think a lot of cables are poorly built. They have bad strain relief, and HDMIs are very kind of finicky interface anyways. So if you put any tension on that cable, it's very easy to break a lead.
That's for sure. You're correct there, because we get them back and somebody says, well, I got it, that's where in the box. Well, we hand test every HDMI cable we sell. And we test it using a Meridio generator, which is a HDMI generator, signal generator. We test it at 4K 6444 8-bit color, which is 18 gig.
Right.
So every one we do, we plug it between the Meridio generator and the Samsung 444 screen. So we see that it has picture, it has color, it has audio, no sparkles. Take it out, we plug the next one in. 100% of our cables before they're shipped, before they're packaged, are tested. So people don't get bad cables from us. They can't, because it goes out good. So we get one back and somebody says the cable is bad. First thing we do is say, okay, let's see what happened. And usually we'll find it was stressed. For instance, somebody has it in a cable box, they plug it in the cable box, and they shove it against the wall. As soon as they hit that point where it bends the strain relief, it'll pop the connections on the connector. That's one thing, but there's another part to it. The part that I was thinking about was it works for a month and it stops. What's happening is it's right on the edge of working when it gets there. Something changes in either the source or the display.
Gotcha.
So supply voltages, something changes just a bit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom, it's gone because it was just barely working. I think there are a lot of cables that have no headroom.
Right, so they're right at the edge.
Right at the edge.
And there's no certifications. A lot of companies don't even bother to certify through the HDMI.
That's right. They don't want to pay the money for it.
Right.
We spent the money to do that because I believe it's important for our customers to know that we've got a cable that we thought enough about them to make sure that they're going to get a cable that works not just for a day or two, but it's going to work for years. And that's why we have a lifetime warranty on our cables, because we feel that they'll be good for a lifetime as long as they're not damaged.
Gotcha. Well, I certified Tributaries, no BS. I know Joe Perfito for a long time. He's a good guy. And guys, if you are looking for high-end cables that look good, measure well, and are durable, take a look at Tributaries. Give them a shot. They don't throw any batteries on their cables. There's no magic.
Thank you, sir.
Joe, it's nice seeing you here
Gene, good
at
to
the
see
Audio
you.
Expo show in Tampa, Florida.
We are.
Keep listening.